Barbados, get up. Good morning Barbados, good morning to you. Good morning, 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 morning. Good morning to you. Good morning Barbados, good morning to you. Good morning Barbados, good morning. Wake up, morning to you.
Good morning indeed to you. Good to have you in company today on this beautiful Tuesday, February 27th. I wonder what you have planned today and if we fit into your plans. If we didn't all the way through, I certainly hope that we'll be able to change your minds with the 2 hours that we expect to spend with you. I'm Tisha Hines and I'll be here with you until 8 o'clock this morning, along with our fantastic crew from the Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation and some wonderful guests who are here at the Standard Showroom in Wildey to share with you over the next 2 hours or so. So we're going to have some great discussions today that we want you to clue in on as well. Remember, you can email us at morninbarbados@cbc.bb. That's morning without the G. If you want to share any stories, you can feedback, of course, on our social media pages. We stream live on Facebook and we're also on YouTube and every other social media platform. So X and Instagram, we can go on and on and on. You can find us just about everywhere. So make sure that you check in with us and let us know how things are going with you and, of course, what you want to see. So we're going to be touching on a number of things today that really have been top of the news, not only online, but in mainstream news as well. Namely, we've been seeing a lot more, for some reason, dog attacks. So why? And is it the responsibility of the dog owner? There are a lot of people who are kind of casting blame in different directions. You know, on social media, people share their views. Some of them very, very diverging views. So we want to hear from you too, but we're going to have a gentleman coming in today, Paul Rasimba Akoma Rock, and he's a dog trainer and he has a personal story to share. I mean, I think we all have a little dog story or something to share, even if it was a tiny little puppy at some point in time that ran you somewhere, you ran away from it. But I certainly read a story last evening that I've not been able to confirm whether it's true or not, but a story where a gentleman wrote about being attacked by a pit bull. And we know the stories that we've heard about that particular type of dog. So we won't focus in on that dog, but we certainly will get into discussion on some of the things that you need to do to be able to make sure that your dog doesn't attack anyone, particularly if you call it a part of your family and it's your pet. We also have Sakina Bakaria coming through. She's president of the Barbados Association of Muslim Ladies, and they have a Ramadan voucher drive. Now, you'd know that every year they do lots of work with young women in particular, but within their community and the community at large. So she's going to be telling us all of the work that the Muslim ladies are doing as they continue to make strides and inroads for themselves and for Barbados. Kimberly Payne, the interior curator of Emerald Living Interiors, who works along with Standard, she's going to be here today. And we are talking inexpensive ways to transform your spaces. So we're here and there's so many wonderful spaces presented by Standard that we want to make sure that you get some great ideas. So on that note, I'd like to remind you that there is an opportunity for you to come on in and get in on the action with Kimberly. So all you have to do is send a picture, just a quick snap. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, to info@standard.bb with a room that you'd like to change up. And they're going to get in contact with one lucky winner. You get to come in, you get to consult with Kimberly, and you get a big discount off if you need to get some accessories or maybe new furniture or what have you. To all a week, it's probably not that. but we're going to tell you a bit about that. We're also going to talk to Jon Griffin, who is an artist. He's going to share some wonderful information about what drives him and his career generally in art. But we're going to start with Dr. Michelle Singh, who's director of the Center for Agricultural Research and Innovation, or CARGI, in the Science and Technology at the University of the West Indies. What a mouthful.
Yes.
Good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Thank you very much, and good morning, Barbados.
It's great to have you with us.
Thank you.
All right, so I want to start at the beginning. It's a relatively new faculty, but much needed. So let's talk a little bit about what the Faculty of Agricultural Research and Innovation is doing over at KPhil-UE.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning. It's the Faculty of Science and Technology, and this is one of the centers within the faculty. It's the Center for Agricultural Research and Innovation, CAGRI. The center has a mandate for teaching, learning, but most of all, revenue generation in agriculture and agricultural innovation. So what people can expect is a lot more interaction between the University of the West Indies, CAGRI, and the stakeholders within the sector. And when we say stakeholders, it doesn't simply mean the farmer who's growing crops or rearing livestock. An agricultural stakeholder is all of us. We are all consumers of agricultural goods and products.
I know that, this is a relatively new department in the faculty, but with the goals that we're working toward, certainly 25 by 25, how does something like this and the Sustainable Development Goals overall shape up the focus of your department?
CAGRI, yeah. That's a very, very important question. And the center is poised to launch the Duke's Agri-Industrial Estate, the Duke's Agri-Industrial Park. And you would have heard a lot about Duke's in the past. This center was previously known as the Center for Food Security and Entrepreneurship, and it has been recently renamed. That being said, the Duke's Agri-Industrial Park is the only one of its kind in this part of the world, which means it's a game changer primarily for Barbados, the OECS, and all of the Caribbean, where we hope to bring all interested persons who operate in that agri-industrial space into one area so that we have a better grip on the research needs, the production needs, quality control standards. And when we talk about that type of thing, we are also empowering and strengthening our people towards food sovereignty in this part of the world.
For you generally, what does food sovereignty mean in a Caribbean context?
Yes.
That's where we are.
Yes. So food sovereignty, simple definition, the ability of a people to choose their food of choice and to grow that food. So it means we move away from the commercialized type of product into something that our people have come up through the generations with. And I make reference to our roots and tubers: sweet potato, cassava, dasheen, yam, complex carbohydrates that help reduce your incidence of NCDs, your non-communicable diseases. And that's one of the roles of CAGRI. We try to bridge that link between the science and the application and use agriculture as the tool, the most powerful tool to address health concerns within the region.
That's really important, the application. Because we can tell people about things all we like, but if they can't figure out how to make it stick, how to fit into their everyday lives, then we have challenges.
Yes.
So talk to me about the courses then that are offered as we talk about agriculture along with industrialization, because
Yes.
what agriculture looks like now is not what it looked like to our grandparents.
Well, it's an even shorter time than that. It's 5-10 years ago, agriculture was primarily driven by manual labor. It still is to a large extent. The courses that we have on the books will simply be courses that will address the desires of our stakeholders. So the Faculty of Food and Agriculture is housed in the St. Augustine campus. Our role is to monetize research. So let us say we had a student who was doing something on sweet potato flakes instead of corn flakes. This will be the center that will take that idea and translate it and transform it into a business and put it into application, so that we are looking at monetizing agriculture. So whatever courses we put out will be geared towards agriculture.
I mean, I had opportunity to read about Jamaica, and they're making
Breadfruit or
pumpkin ketchup. And that sounds a little crazy to me, because when we think ketchup, we think tomatoes. But there they are making ketchup from pumpkins, and pumpkins, you know, there's something that we find here in our region a lot in terms of growing. So as you mentioned, making it relevant.
Yes.
To our neck of the woods.
Exactly.
And seeing how we could make that work for us.
Yes.
And then, of course, it is, of course, a healthier option as well that they were presenting. So talk to me about technology generally, and the place that technology takes with agriculture, because we've heard a lot about how countries like Singapore, for example, are advancing technology in agriculture, in the way that they're able to set up their farms, vertical farms or what have you, and just take agriculture to another level.
Yes.
Are we there yet, heading in that direction? Because I feel like things like that might not only interest a younger demographic, but will certainly make food sovereignty a little closer in sight.
Yes. You raised a very, very important point, and that is age. The statistics show that in the Caribbean, the age of the average farmer is above 55.
Wow.
All right? That being said, there is a slower rate of adoption of technology. I like to tell people, let us sexify agriculture. There is only way to sexify it, and that is to show me the money. All right? And the younger generation coming up have the best opportunity, because they are so adept to these little devices. All right? So we have automatic irrigation, automatic sprinklers, we have drone technology, we have fertilizer, nanotechnology. All of those are different types of innovations and technologies, ICTs, into agriculture. In fact, there are many apps that you can download on your phone to identify plant disease or plant pests on your phone. But the adoption of the technology is a little bit slow in this part of the world, and we are seeing a resurgence of interest from the younger people as we introduce more climate smart technologies. You see that general increase in the level of interest, primarily because through the adoption of technology, they see the money. All right. At AgriFest over the weekend, Calgary launched its Gallery Grow system. I don't know if you were able to visit our booth, but we had two versions of the Gallery Grow system. It's a landless, soilless, waterless method of growing crops.
Okay, so we have to slow that down. Landless,
Soilless,
waterless way to grow crops.
Yes.
I'm intrigued.
Yes. So it's not new technology, but it is being packaged in a way that is palatable to the average household. So it's the use of PVC pipes using a nutrient media solution, and that simply means we mix the nutrients in a tub of water, and you have a choice of crop that you can use. And I am advocating for people to adopt nutrient-dense foods as opposed to lettuce only. Because many times you see these hydroponic systems and lettuce is the first thing that you see. But if we promote nutrient-dense foods, we have an opportunity to influence diets, lives, and livelihoods. So the system is a modifiable system, and it's being sold based on your available space. It really is to encourage you to grow your own fresh herbs and short-term leafy crops that the system can last your lifetime. We provide you with the system. You choose out of 5 the crops you wish to put in there. We provide you with the nutrient solution, either an electrical or solar pump. It goes onto your patio, And over the weekend, I was asking people, how much do you spend in the market on fresh herbs? How much do you spend?
I'd say I maybe have to top up on my fresh herbs every 2 weeks or so. And of the grocery bill, maybe $20.
Okay, so $20 every 2 weeks, that's
Yes,
$40
$40 a month.
All right, these systems are between $400 and $500. So in 6 to 8 months, you would have paid for your system, and you are able then to reduce your grocery bill by $40 every 2 weeks.
And there are other residual benefits too. I mean, I don't have to sell it to you, literally or figuratively. But I think when you grow something that you then consume and share that with your children, it kind of gives them a totally different perspective on what food is and how it should be consumed.
As we become more urbanized, you find that persons don't even put one thought into what they eat and where it comes from. All right? So this actually gives persons a chance, as you rightly said, to live closer to their food. But here's a bigger one, where you reduce your carbon footprint. Because the further distance your food has to travel before you consume it, that's a large carbon footprint.
Absolutely. We know that weather has changed. So I'm interested in doubling back and talking about the organizations that you work with. And of course, taking into account how climate change is affecting agriculture and what we're going to do to kind of mitigate the challenges with that. Because if we're hearing all the time about things like radial larceny, and we're hearing about all of these challenges with climate and so on, and farmers losing crops en masse, then that could be an even further deterrent for people wanting to get into the industry. So we're going to dissect all of that and a whole lot more as we continue to prepare you for the Faculty of Science and Technology Week, and share more with you on the CAGRI department in that faculty at the University of the West Indies. So stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Hey guys, my name is John Yard and I'm the father to an amazing 3-year-old little boy. He'd say it like this: my name is Malachi John Yard. And Malachi, he's a super adventurous little boy. He loves to explore, he loves to have a great time, and it's my responsibility to facilitate such. One of the things that I do is ensure that the spaces where he's around, that they're safe from danger and harm. As a father, I also recognize that there's some things and some threats to his own safety as a child that we can't see with our physical eyes. That's why we believe in vaccinations as a family. I want my son, my adventurous little boy, to be as adventurous and as curious in this world as he possibly can, safely. We believe that DPT vaccination safeguards our son from tetanus, from diphtheria, and so many other viruses that are out there. My parents did it for me, I'm doing it for my son, and I really hope that you do it for yours. God bless you.
I am Anne St. John, a consultant pediatrician. Selecting water instead of commercial juice drinks or sweet drinks or sodas is recommended with meals and with snacks. Parents are advised to choose alternatives. Avoid drinks where the first 2 ingredients on the back label are water and a type of sugar. The high frequent consumption of sugar developing overweight and obesity in your child.
What's going on, everybody? It's Mahalia from Mahalia's Corner and the band to Mile Hill. I'm about to become a mommy for the very first time, and I know there's so much that I can't control as my baby grows up. And while that's the truth for all parents, there are some things we can do to help set up our little ones for a long and healthy life. And one of those things is making sure that they're immunized against deadly but preventable diseases like polio, rubella, and mumps. Things like measles have been making a recent comeback due to a serious decline in childhood immunization. Now, my mommy made sure we kept up with my immunization schedule when I was little, and now here I am, healthy, and about to do the same for my own bundle of joy. So I encourage you to get your little ones immunized, keep up with their immunization schedules, and give them the best chance at growing up strong and healthy and having the opportunity to make a positive impact on the world.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
All right, so welcome back. As you caught it, so we're still talking, even though we went to break, we were still having a conversation because it's so relevant, it's so interesting, and it's a needed discussion when we start talking about agriculture, but most importantly, monetizing agriculture, because a lot of people don't necessarily see the money from the outset. Let's talk now about the organizations that you've been able to work with, or you're looking toward working with, to be able to continue to build out all that you're doing at the center.
Yeah. So our focus has primarily been our key stakeholder, which will be the Ministry of Agriculture, and we have been engage thoroughly with a lot of support through the ministry to develop a cadre of training programs for both technical and non-technical staff in the areas of drought resistance, selection of adapted cultivars of crops, breeding of the Barbados blackbelly sheep, feeding of the Barbados blackbelly sheep, which is an iconic animal for Barbados. Aside from the ministry, we have also had discussions with the FAO. We have been engaged with Invest Barbados, Future Barbados. So there are different entities. We are focused on monetizing research and innovations in agriculture. To invite persons who have ideas. You may have a business idea and you don't know how to get it off the ground, or you're not aware of advancements in the industry that can help you move forward faster. Please come in and have a chat with us at the Center for Agricultural Research and Innovation, and we are located in the CARICOM Research Complex across the road from the UWI.
No, there's so many intersections with other organizations, with other industries, with other sectors. And one that immediately comes to mind for me is health and wellness, of course. What part will your thrust toward monetizing agriculture? And you added on the back end, of course, you're dealing with packaging, and maybe people who want to get into processing and things like that. What role, with the general drive that's happening now in health and wellness, where in this part of the begging people to tell us that they're sharing with us, what role will things like that play in the work that you're doing? Because I think all make it even sexier and far more intriguing to a younger demographic, and then more palatable, literally and figuratively, to the world generally.
Yeah. So tomorrow you shall be meeting the manager of CCAS, which is the Center for Commercial and Analytical Services, another center within the Faculty of Science and Technology. And that center has been set up to do exactly that, develop those nutrient analysis, so that when persons come or they develop a product, that service is also available, so that we provide a one-stop shop in the Faculty of Science and Technology for persons wishing to enter that agribusiness market. So testing of products, validation, those sorts of things will all be done at the Faculty of Science and Technology.
Then of course the world is your oyster.
Exactly.
Because you can't import into certain markets if you don't have nutritional facts and things like that. So it gives farmers or potential farmers, business people, more options in terms of getting Caribbean and agricultural offshoot into other parts of the world.
So it's strengthening that circular economy, whereby we get value and we add value every single line of that value chain. So CAGRI Faculty of Science and Technology is well poised to be that launching pad for most persons in the agri sector. And I want us to also include our livestock farmers, because everybody in Barbados eats meat. And we keep thinking of agriculture as a crop-centered type of business. But we have a lot of livestock farmers. We have poultry, pig, sheep and goat, rabbits, beef. All right? So we need to be inclusive with all our stakeholders.
From your position, from where you and some people might might phrasing it this way, but the dollar signs in because nobody goes into a business if it's not lucrative. You're not going into business to not make money, to not be successful. So that, what are we missing? The average people who could be moving toward a viable career or business in agriculture.
So you've just hit the nail on the head. A business. Most of our small-scale farmers do not consider themselves businessmen. And if you were to open a business, there were certain things you would consider. Access to funding, record keeping, checks and balances, validation of quality control. Are our small farmers engaged in those activities? Do we know how much it costs to grow 10 heads of lettuce? Do we know how much it costs to produce 10 goats or 10 sheep? Do we know what the revenue is? Do we know what our profit is? So that little key can open many, many doors. We need to think or understand that agriculture is a business. Just as Massey is a business, Standards is a business, it is a business. And we have to change the mindset to facilitate that type of thinking.
Yeah. A lot of people, for these things, people are thinking vocation. And they don't necessarily, and it's not only agriculture.
Yes.
There are so many different areas where somebody might be good with their hands or good at something, there's something they like and they get into. But the business side of it can be a deterrent.
Yes.
And I know for a lot of adults, they hear about maybe going back to school and all of a sudden they think I might have to do economics, or I have to do a stats class, or I might have to do an accounts class, and they shut down immediately because they feel like I wasn't necessarily good in school and this will feel like I'm going back to school, and they don't want to go back there. So what advice would you have for them? Because approaching it like a business might mean then that they may have to partner with other people. And we know in this part of the world, we don't necessarily
like
think partnerships.
Yes.
We think about going it on our own.
Yeah. So the thing is, most small-scale farms are nuclear in its type. It means we have a mother, father, kids who may help out on the farm or whatever. The skill set required is easily accessible, and we will make certain programs available for that. But more so, we have technology, and it's now an ICT-driven type of sector. So those are easy. With the click of a button, everyone has a smartphone. It's simply a matter of organizing your information or understanding the need to do so, but more so understanding the money you are losing by not doing certain things. So CAGRI will be rolling out its suite of programs, its suite of support services to strengthen and build capacity in food sovereignty in Barbados, particularly driving the sector towards being a profit-making sector.
I'm glad that you double back to food sovereignty, because I've kind of been thinking about that in the back of my head. And some of the products that we import, I mean, not all of them, because that's the reason why we import some products sometimes, but some of the products that we import, are products that people don't even maybe look at trying to grow. So getting people in the frame of mind where they think about filling maybe particular niches, is a great way to go. So what do people do who want to be a part of the department? Do they go through the regular matriculation process, or are there some short courses that people who are already in the field can do? What's it like to be able to capitalize on what you're offering at CAGRI?
So it's going to be a little bit of both. As I said, we do not have that academic profile as yet, but definitely your matriculation is going to be through the Faculty of Science and Technology, and we encourage the research agenda. So you'll be able to come to us to do your research project, your final year project, your master's, your PhD thesis, all right, through the center and at the Dukes Agri-Industrial Park.
Oh, that's beautiful. Any opportunities for businesses and industries to get into what you're offering generally?
So I would like to advocate for corporate Barbados to consider using our facilities at Dukes, which will be launched anywhere between August and December of this year. So we're in the process of developing our prospectus and of letting people know what services will be offered at the Dukes Agri-Industrial Park.
All right. So did we mention the short courses?
Yes, we said they're going to be tailored to meet the stakeholders.
Yeah, because my people are telling me about that. You know how it goes sometimes. There's a little something in the air that I'm not supposed to talk about. So for a minute, I think they thought they missed it, but I knew that we had gone there. We talked about that as well.
So I could double back for you.
For sure.
Over the AgriFest weekend, we did carcass fabrication. And that's a nice fancy word for showing people how to cut meat. But meat processing is an entire course unto itself. So it strengthens persons' capacities to develop things like chicken sauce, chicken hams, pork hams, beef hams, fish hams.
Now you're using cuss words when it comes to Bajans. Did you say chicken ham?
And fish ham. Because ham is a process.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's also a method of preserving the shelf life of meat, infusing it with various flavors. You see, pepper sauce flavored ham.
Yeah. Listen, I know that a few years ago we had I used to do a program called Gel in Agriculture, Grow Well, Eat Well, Live Well in Agriculture. And we were looking at some lamb ham, and I was so reluctant to taste it, but it was really, really good. Yes. So, you know, the prospects are definitely there. And it's wonderful that you were able to come in with us tomorrow to share more about what CAGRI is doing, what the department is doing at UE, and how you're making it more sexy and profitable.
Yes.
To be involved in agriculture.
Yes.
The new tagline, agriculture. Show me the money. Okay. All right. So thank you so much, Dr. Singh, for sharing with us. And we most certainly look forward to continuing the discussion on agriculture and where it intersects with business.
Yes.
Very important.
Definitely.
All right. So you definitely can look forward for more discussion on that. Maybe not on Morning Barbados, but most certainly on CBC TV8. It's time for another break. When we come back, we have a young man's story to share with you. And it's going to be pretty interesting. He's an artist, and he has lots going for him. That's next.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Hi folks, it's Natalie Burke. Y'all remember when we used to have to line up at primary school with our uniform sleeves rolled up so the nurses could give us the injection? Or that bad tasting drop of red liquid that they used to give us with a sugar cube to kill the taste? Want to know just what I'm talking about? Those are our childhood memories. But while memories were being made, we were actually getting protection. Protection from illnesses and diseases like measles, mumps, rubella, and polio that could make us very sick or potentially kill us. Nowadays, there has been a noticeable decrease in the numbers of children being immunized. Why deny them a chance to be well or even to live? Come on, parents and guardians, step up for your children. Get them immunized and keep up with the immunization schedule. Stop lying and get your children protected starting today.
I'm Anne St. John, a consultant pediatrician. When packing healthy lunch boxes, do include a fruit which includes a banana, apple, orange, or grapes to supply fiber. Aim for low-calorie packaged snacks without the mention of flour or sugar amongst the first 4 ingredients on the back label. 1 in 3 children in Barbados is affected by overweight or obesity. Let us join together as parents and care providers to reduce the further development of this chronic non-communicable disease within our communities.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning to you indeed, and welcome back to Mornin Barbados. Hey, I have to say a special good morning to the friends at Brydon's. Of course, Brydon's is a part of the entire ANSA family, so they're related, they're cousins to our friends here at Standard. And they heard me the other morning having a little coughing fit, and they said, we're going to send you some water, Tisha, so that, you know, you can have a sip. So hence you're seeing some water. Compliments of the cousins at Brydon's here with us. So thank you so very much. And of course, I want to say a special good morning to those of you who live and work in this general vicinity where we are here in Wildey at the Standard showroom. Remember, all you have to do is submit a picture of a room that you want to spruce up and make look nice. You're submitting it to info@standard.bb. It's that simple. info@standard.bb, and you could get a chance to come on in and get a consultation absolutely for free, and then of course a big discount on anything you're going to purchase, all with the compliments of Standard in association with Mornin Barbados. So make sure that you take that shot. It doesn't have to be too fancy, and get it to us. info@standard.bb. That's where you're emailing it. Now, we love to celebrate our exceptional youth, and today is no different. Jon Griffin is joining us this morning, and he has had quite a short journey with graphic art. He's been doing it for about 6.5 years, but he loves the digital side of things. So we want to talk to him a little bit about his amazing work. Good morning and welcome.
Hi, good morning. Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you here, and congratulations on all of your wonderful work, which we'll be sharing as much as we can this morning.
Thank you.
As we speak with you. But tell me how you figured out that you had a knack for art.
Honestly, I could say it started from as early as I could pick up a pencil. My family has people in them who are artists in their own right, not really professional artists, but you know, they used to draw just for hobbies. So I would watch my father, I watched my cousin, one of my father's friends. They all were able to draw pretty decently, and I would be, you know, trying to replicate them, ask them to draw stuff for me. And I remember that combined with the fact that I was just always coming up with stuff from an early age, just always coming up with stuff that I wanted to draw. So like, even in primary school, when I used to see the children picking up the coloring books and stuff, I'd be like, you know, the pictures are already done. The pictures are already done. Like, I'm not able to create anything. I'd rather create my own pictures, create my own drawings, and then color them. So that was when I really started to, you know, develop my creative side and get into drawing. And later on down the line, you know, I started to become interested in like cartoons, comics. One of my friends from church had went overseas and studied animation when I was about 11, 12. And I decided, you know, that was something that I wanted to get into myself. So I kind of followed in his footsteps and, you know, started learning how to draw with ink, markers, watercolor, and eventually I moved on to the digital side. And that's kind of where I have decided to stay, because it's honestly something that comes natural to me. I was always experimenting with like different animation programs, different graphics programs. So I already had the foundation. And then when I started to actually put that towards art, it was almost like I was translating my skills from paper onto the screen.
Now, once you left secondary school and went on to BCC, that's, I would imagine, where you started to kind of hone your skills in a different but a more focused way. And maybe this is where you started to develop the love for that digital art. So talk to me about how the program that you were able to do then shaped your vision or kind of fed into the vision for the type of artist that you wanted to be.
Well, when I went to BCC, as you said, that's where it was a more focused program in terms of, deciding what kind of artist I wanted to be. That was where I always tell people that I was not a good artist before I went to BCC, because that's where I met one of our tutors called Wayne Branch, and he really, he was big on draftsmanship in general, especially anatomy, which is something that I really started to get into once I got to BCC. Like a lot of my other friends who are would tell you that I'm really a stickler for good anatomy, like drawing people as best you can in terms of the proportions, in terms of musculature, the skeletal structure, all that comes into play when you're drawing a person. That's something that I kind of obsess over when I'm drawing. But yeah, from there in the associate degree, that's where we got the groundwork in terms of learning how to draw and how to use the tools at our disposal. And then when I went into the bachelor's program, that's when I specialized in graphic design, because I had spoken to the tutors and told them what I wanted to do later on in life, and they told me the best course would be to go into graphic design. So that's where I got more hands-on work with working artistically on the computer, and learning stuff about color, shapes, how to convey a message, how to use fonts, and all those things would tie back into the whole idea of graphic art. Because even though it was a graphic design based course, there was still space for illustration. There was a lot of people who did illustration in my year and the years prior, the years after. So that's where I really decided to focus on the digital illustration side of things once I got into the bachelor's course.
Well, you must have been doing pretty good, that in the first year of that course you were able to win a scholarship for the Emerging Leaders of the Americas, or ELAP program.
Yes.
So tell me about how you were able to capitalize on that and move on to study outside of Barbados.
Honestly, I can't remember all the details in terms of how I ended up joining the program, but I remember it was me and I think it was 6 other students that went overseas to study at St. Lawrence College in Brockville, Ontario, Canada. That was where we really got to see. It was a different style of teaching over there. Not necessarily better, not a different style of teaching. I found that they were more lenient in letting you explore what you really wanted to do. Whether it would be good or bad in terms of career choices, I found that they were just allowing you to explore. This is still the associate's degree, so that might have been part of it as well. But I had done my final project for that year was a graphic novel that I started. I didn't have to finish it, I just had to do some pages and color them. That's where I really started to get into, before I got into it, I was dealing with color, which I have a love for to this day, even though I don't do it as much. But I did a lot with it, and from there, that's when I took that knowledge into the digital side.
I find it really interesting that you use the word lenient in talking about an approach to teaching that permits you to go where your mind takes you, particularly as relates to art. Because if we take art in its truest sense, and not necessarily commercial art as we're accustomed to, not necessarily graphic novels or illustrations, comic books or what have you, but art as a true expression of feelings, or an expression of where you are in life, or something through your eyes, how you see it. So maybe abstract art and things like that. I think sometimes that's more difficult for people in this part of the world to kind of accept.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
it's kind of like parents, if they can't see it, kind of in this square, they're maybe not on board, or they don't want to throw cold water on your dreams. So they will say, oh, well, this is a good secondary thing.
Yeah.
But make sure that you still get your good education, is the way we put it. So it's interesting to hear you talk about in another part of the world, them being lenient in terms of allowing you to follow your dreams. It really shows us how we kind of box out art. Yeah, so did you feel like it wasn't necessarily initially a path that you could follow? And I want you to be brutally honest, because I'm told now that you're working in the hotel industry, and unless you're creating graphic art in the hotel industry, I want to know why someone of your talent is not pursuing this.
Well, I am working in the hotel industry. But it's something that I did learn initially at BCC. It is skills that I got from BCC that I'm taking into the hotel industry. I'm still working somewhere that is more artistically inclined. Because I'm editing photographs, so I'm working a lot with Photoshop and Lightroom, and working with photographers is definitely a very artistic field. So I'm still working somewhere that is more artistic. To your previous question, when you asked if there is something that I've always seen as a path, I would say I didn't always see it as a path in Barbados specifically, because I do remember when I was around 13, 14, I was saying that I would go overseas, that my career would more take me overseas. But I think now, more than back when I was younger, it definitely is a path. There definitely is a path here. I do find that there are some illustrators there are some established illustrators that live here. There's some people who have worked on animations, well-known animations, that still live and work here.
But Joran, I dare say you're forging your own path. Are you not doing illustrations that you're sharing online?
Yes, I am.
So then you're taking yourself outside of the realm of only being here, or functioning or operating from here. I mean, if we think about it, someone came up with the Matrix. It was a lady. Someone came up with Terminator. Someone came up with Black Panther. And that had to be illustrated and continues to be. Someone came up with Harry Potter. So these are things that we need people like you, not to mention there's advertising and all that other stuff. You might not be interested in the commercial side of it based on what I've seen, but certainly you've been rewarded quite a lot for the work that you've done. I know back in 2019 you earned a bronze medal during the NIFCA of that year for a spoken word piece as well. So you're presenting yourself as a true artist, and I'm told you fancy yourself as a bit of a dramatist and writer. So let me hear about that part of you.
That's something that that rubbed off of me from my mother and father. When I was as early as like 3 years old, my parents had me on stage doing poems, singing songs, doing plays, and for that reason I became very comfortable on stage. Like when I hear people talking about stage fright and stuff like that and public speaking, that's something that I could never relate to, because it was just so normal for me to be on stage in front of people at school, at church, at any other function. So that part came normal to me. And obviously being around my mother, who writes a lot of poems, writes a lot of plays, her and my father, being around that kind of rubbed off on me in my youth, and I started to write some of my own poems as well. And as I got older, obviously I got a little bit more refined with the craft, to the point where I had wrote a poem that I performed at NIFCA. I had actually written it for a competition that we had at Sandals. It was an Independence Day competition. I performed it there. Then I performed it at the Port Lime. I don't know if you know, there's a Port Lime that a group called Frenetic Arts used to put on. I don't know if they still put it on, but I performed it there. And then from there, people encouraged me, to take it to NIFCA, which I did, and eventually was awarded a bronze medal.
That's excellent, and I know that you're going to enter NIFCA again. Yeah. So I'd like to salute you on all the fantastic work that you're doing as an artist.
Thank you.
I want you to continue to embrace art in all of its fullness and continue to share all of your gracious talents with us.
Thank you.
Continue the good work. I saw that we shared many of your illustrations on the screen as you were speaking, and they truly are beautiful. I look forward to that graphic novel and the illustrations with the name Jon Griffin behind them, all right?
Thank you.
Another exceptional youth as we continue to feature the wonderful work the young people of Barbados are doing. We're live in Wildey. As you can see, the traffic is passing by. It's getting pretty busy outside, so if you have to be there, get there soon. Hey, we have the news coming your way soon, still to come. We're also going to be joining up with Kimberly, who is getting things ready. She's going to show us how to entertain on a budget and so much more. Transform your rooms and make things look lovely. That's all coming up. Plus, we're talking to a dog trainer about what you need to do to make sure that you protect your animals and the people around you as well. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Every year, millions of children die from causes that are preventable and treatable. Scary, right? It's a songbird Nikita, mom of two young boys, Knox and Noah. And rates of immunization have been backsliding to their lowest levels in the last 3 decades, which means that children are missing out on routine vaccines that can help keep them safe from deadly diseases like measles, mumps, polio, and even tetanus. I want to encourage every mom and dad out there to give your child the opportunity to live a healthy life, one that they will not only survive, but thrive. Protect your child as I protect mine.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
As we approach the 7 o'clock hour, thank you once again for tuning in and being a part of the Morning Barbados family. So something we've been hearing a lot about, for a long, long time, but seemingly over the last 2 weeks, we've been hearing more about dog attacks. So we have with us this morning Rasimba, and Rasimba is a dog trainer. So it's good to have you with us.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Let's talk about what made you love dogs to the point that you wanted to become a dog trainer. Is that how it happened? Starting with the love and then moving into working with dogs?
Well, I have a passion for dogs. I've had dogs all my life. I like to tell people I've had dogs before I was born. I grew up with dogs. My parents had dogs. My mom is a teacher, so I'm really an educator. I like to think of myself as an educator. Some people may know me from homeschooling. I used to homeschool and into education, and that I sort of married my education with my love of dogs, and now I'm training dogs. I think that as I get on in life, I was looking for something to do, that didn't feel like work. There's a saying that says that, if you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life, and I don't want to work. So I train dogs, so, I just, I do what I love, and I think dogs are, the most loving animal, that you can ever encounter. And I think that people that don't own dogs or have never owned a dog, I've never really experienced unconditional love.
All right, well, that's me. That's me. I've never owned a dog. My sister has had a dog, My nephew now has a dog. I think my husband and his family, you know, they're very into dogs, so they're dog. I have not. And I think it stems from a phobia, maybe from youth. I'm not that afraid of dogs anymore as I was before. And I think that came from a story from one of my older sisters, because she did have a dog attack when she was younger. So I think that stemmed from that story that she still tells every chance she gets. But when we think about dogs, there's so many of them. So as a trainer and someone who's had dogs in your life for your whole life, I think that you're well poised to tell us the level of research that people should do before they kind of jump in and maybe get a dog. They probably need to know the type of dog they're getting and if it's well suited for their family and even for the type of environment that they're in.
This is true. You know, most people, they get a dog based on if it's a puppy or if it looks cute, and you know, just like a child, a dog is a lifetime commitment, much shorter. You know, the average lifespan of a dog is like 12 years. You know, although you have dogs that, you know, live longer. And I think that, as you said, that when you're going to get a dog, take a dog into your home, you have to really consider the environment, consider the breed of the dog, the nature of the dog, and what the dog was bred to do innately, you know. Take into consideration your time, you know, and the purpose. Really ask yourself, what am I getting a dog for? You know, when I go to my clients, the first thing I tell them is, when we start training, think of your dog as a child. You know, for those who had children or have children, think of how you would raise your child and apply it to the dog. You know.
Now that's an interesting perspective. I know a lot of people see dogs as a part of their family, like their children and so on. But do we approach taking care of the dogs like we would the little ones?
No.
Particularly in the area of teaching the dogs obedience and things like that. So do you believe that dog owners can get to that place where they can train the dogs themselves, or do they always need to look to experts like you?
No, they don't always have to look to experts like me. The biggest part of dog ownership, I like to say, is socializing, and that is basically taking your dogs out for walks, taking your dogs in public around people, so they get accustomed, you know, to cars, other animals, you know. We can all relate in neighborhoods where they have a lot of dogs, you know. You may see all these people with dogs, and you would hardly see these people walking dogs, you know. All of us can relate to people that have their dogs tied forever or in a kennel, you know. And we treat the dogs like how we treat a cow or a goat. You know, you do the minimum, you know, feed and water, and the dog is out there tied out, and they just want the dog to bark if somebody comes around, and you know. So we have a really skewed attitude when it comes to dogs. When you talk about fear, and I think this is where I believe that the government, our education system, you know, especially as we've moved into the realms of a republic, you know, we still have a lot of colonial fear and residue, you know, with us. Why I say that is that we as a people, I'm talking about black people, African descended people, being politically correct, have an innate fear of dogs. Now I would take my dog on the beach. I'm a trainer, my dogs are well trained, you know, I can have them off leash. And my dogs are big, 150 pounds plus. You know, big dogs, big, powerful, aggressive looking dogs. The average black person, when they see me coming, treats me like Moses, part in the Red Sea, you know, they make space. the average white person will come to me and say, oh, what a beautiful dog, I want, you know, and just socializing, can I touch it? You know, generally, we have a different attitude. Now, when I'm walking the road with my dog, as you said, parents have a big responsibility. Children will come and say, oh, that's a nice dog, it's a dog, it's a dog. And then the mother or the father will be like, don't go there, don't touch, you know, and they're instilling this fear. And you know some of the acronyms for fear, one I love, false evidence appearing real, you know. And I think our attitude to dogs, I've lived in a big country, I've lived in Canada, I went to school in Canada, and there are dogs all over the place. And if we really take time to deal with the situation, you know, this dog bite situation, dog attack situation, which is not new, you know. I myself, just over about 5 weeks ago, I don't know if you can zero in all this residents of a dog attack. I was walking the road and a dog attacked me, but because I knew what to do, you know, I didn't suffer as much. 15 stitches here.
Wow.
And I always say, you know, there are really no bad dogs. They're just bad owners.
All right, so how do you get to the place where you say that after you suffer an attack? Because I know you gave the acronym FAIR and all of that, and I understand how culture plays into this a lot, how we've been brought up, how our past plays into our belief system, how we feel, all of that. So, you know, I totally agree, but some people have a fear that's legitimized then by maybe what happened to you. This attack where you now have 15 stitches, where I read online just last night about a man who was out exercising and he was attacked by a dog in the Waterford area is the story I read. Again, I'm not sure. I'm not one to believe everything I see on social media, but it had a ring of truth to it. So until we can confirm that, you know, that's just the story for now. But I've heard of so many people who, you know, they shy away from walking. I myself used to do a lot of walking, a lot of running. And one of the deterrents for me was the amount of dogs that I would see loose early on Saturday mornings, which was the day that I would do very long walks. You know, people who would just let their animals kind of roam free. And a lot of them seem as though they're aggressive, even the little tiny ones. So you're running by, they're running at the car, they're running at your feet or trying to nip at you. And so, I mean, it's a real fear for some of us. So, right, so how do we work past that?
So when I say fear, and in terms of the acronym false evidence appearing real, life happens, you know, and we all have bad experience, you know, whether it's a dog, whether it's an accident, a car accident. And the thing is, how then do we face our fears, and how do we deal with our fears? Because bad things happen, you know, and if we just shy away, oh, there's a dog outside.
There's a dog outside. You know, he's walking by.
There's a dog walking by, you know. So how do we actually deal with fear, and how do we deal with traumatic situations? You know, I think that is the real situation here. I was listening to the calling program, not really, but I was hearing, you know, people talking about the calling program and people talking about banning the dogs and this, and you made a very good point just now. Most of the dogs that attack people on the road are little dogs. We have a lot of people that just have dogs and let the dogs roam all over the place. You can't ride by on a bicycle, you can't walk by, they nipping at your heels. No. Now, if we was to take the attitude or the suggestion that we should ban these dogs, then we would have no dogs in Barbados, you know. And if we look at the history of dogs in mankind, we would not be here without the help of dogs.
No, I think that to really arrest this, we need to look at it in a holistic kind of way.
Yes, we do.
Because I too spend a lot of time outside of Barbados, and for me sometimes it's jarring, if only because of how we are culturally and how we think of pets, the way pets are treated in some of those bigger societies. So, for example, you know, people, as you mentioned, they're always out and walking the dogs. The dogs go everywhere with them. They're able to get medical excuses, so to speak, to bring their dogs along. So if you take domestic flights in the U.S., there are dogs on the plane. You go into the supermarket, there are dogs in the supermarket.
Dogs in the hospital.
There are dogs in the hospital, as you mentioned. There are dogs in the airport. There are dogs in restaurants.
Buses, trains.
Everywhere. Buses, trains, as you mentioned. You know, so, but that is also governed by very, very stern laws, because one of my nephews and his wife, they're pet parents. They have 2 dogs, and they're governed by laws where they live, where they can't leave the dogs in the house. If they both work in film, and if they're, you know, traveling to another state, or they have to hire a dog trainer to walk the dog. They have to hire pet sitters to look after the dogs. You talk those things in Barbados, people would think you're going stark crazy.
Well, you know, I've come from a generation, I've seen things when I was small, right? You remember the old telephones? I used to knock out somebody.
Groceries, yes.
Tringling.
I had one in my house.
And if he was to speak about cell phones and thing in those times, people say, "Oh, you're crazy."
Yeah.
You know, maybe a couple of years ago, if we spoke about being a republic, people would say, "Oh, you're crazy."
This is true.
You know, we need to. What I would say is to have a greater vision, you know, and see the possibilities. You know, I always say if it can work in a big place, it can work in a smaller place. Look at the roads. We're talking about dogs. You know, we have endless potholes and things. And I've been away and I say,
but don't talk about the potholes yet.
No,
you know,
the point I'm making.
Don't talk about the potholes yet. I want to agree with you. I want us to start talking about the green spaces, and I want to talk about sidewalks, for example. And I talk about this all the time as somebody who has been very active and who would love to be far more active. It's so difficult to even get out and think of taking a walk sometimes because the infrastructure does not necessarily facilitate that.
So
you're
perfectly right in terms of legislation. Everything cannot be legislated away, you know. And for those who read the Bible, you know that it says that law wasn't made for man, or man wasn't made for the law, but law was made for the man. And when people are negligent, that is when we have to step in and create laws to put in place. If everybody used to drive properly, we wouldn't need street lights, but we do because everybody doesn't drive properly. And I think when I was called into the program, you know, we talk about dog licensing and registering the dog. You know, when this dog bit me, this dog is licensed, you know, is registered. That does nothing, you know, in terms of the socializing and the training. So I believe that we need laws that are upheld, because we do have laws, you know, like in a lot of laws, they're just on the book, they're not upheld. But more than that, I think that when you go to register, especially what we call the guardian breeds, which are the bigger breed dogs, the German Shepherds, the Rottweiler, breeds that historically have been bred to guard livestock and guard, which we now use to guard our homes and properties. That those dogs, when you register them, that they should be mandated to be either trained or, you know, have some sort of, you spoke about just now, you know, in the bigger states that you have to do certain things.
All right, I definitely want to continue this conversation with you. I certainly hope you can come back, but as we wrap, I would like for you to share quickly what you did, because you had this horrendous attack where you know, we showed some of your injuries, but you said you knew what to do. So for anybody who might come face to face with an animal that might be out of control, or the pet owner who is not paying the attention they need to, what would be your advice on what they should do to protect themselves? I know a lot of people say they walk with a stake, I guess, to be able to fend them off, but what would be your advice?
90% of the dogs, you know, if you see a dog coming at you and you stay still and you face the dog, you know, the dog will not come, you know.
So it's what a lot of people say, don't run.
Don't run. Again, it comes down to fear. You know, the dog senses fear, and as soon as you start to panic, that is the problem. With me now, you know, being a little more experienced, any dog is controlled by the head. So when the dog attacks me, I grab the dog here, you know, and you know, that is why I only have bites on my hands, and not like other people, you see bites on their legs, and you know, the average person is not going to be as composed in a situation like that. You know, composure is the key. You know, you look around to see what are your options. You know, if you have space, you can run. If it's something high, you can get upon. You know, the first thing you want to do is to get away. But if you do not have that option, you know, the last thing you want to do is to run. You may fall, you know, and that builds the what we call the drive in the dog, and the excitement, you know. That attitude where it was going to turn the dog, you know, and make the dog attack even more. So the best thing to do is stay calm and look for your options.
All right. I want to thank you for sharing with us. Again, Rasim, but you definitely have to come back. And next time we're going to
Can
go
I mention
outside.
my, where people can find me if they need?
Of course, you're going to have to bring one or two of your dogs.
I would have liked to this time.
Yeah,
Can come
so
in
next time.
studio,
Yeah,
right?
so where can people find you, as you mentioned?
I am Loyalty Canine Services. You know, you can find me either on Facebook or Instagram.
Okay.
Loyalty Canine Services, and my number is 268-7084.
Yeah.
And we offer a range of services, and we give advice, you know, on and you know on any aspect of dog behavioral issues.
All right. So there are a lot of people who need assistance. So you have all that information, and we're going to have Simba back because this is a very relevant discussion that we need to continue. We've not even scratched the surface. On that note, let me say a special good morning to my two nephews who are both dog parents and who love dogs tremendously. We're going to take another break and come back. Stay with us here on Morning Barbados.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Hello, good day. My name is Dr. Diane Brackett. I'm the Clinical Director at the Barbados Diabetes Foundation and also the lead consultant at the Diabetes Clinic. My tip for the week is plan it. And what do I mean by plan it? If you think about it realistically, we all live very, very busy lives. And if you take the time to plan your meals and nutrition over the coming week, you'll find that you'll actually eat healthier meals, spend less money, and they'll probably actually taste a lot better. So what exactly do I mean by plan it? Where are you going to go? What are you going to buy? Where are you going to shop? What about your budget? When are you going to cook food? Maybe when you're going to prepare snacks for maybe the kids in the week. Take this cantaloupe for example. There's so many things that I can do with this. I could actually use this to make an unsweetened natural juice. Maybe hit it with a twist of lime. I can also cut it up and just eat it as fresh fruit. Maybe I can actually make a smoothie with it, with yogurt. You know what else I love to put cantaloupe in? Salad. Or how about using it as a chutney, a pickle, add it to meats. There's just so much stuff that you can do with just the simple things that you can buy. So remember, the health of our children matters. What you put in is what you get out. So plan your best life today.
Hi everybody, my name is Stephanie Chase, an educator tasked with providing a safe environment that is conducive to learning for the children in my care. It is therefore very important for me to encourage parents and guardians to get their children vaccinated. Picture this, 30 children in a classroom sharing food, drinks, snacks, and work materials, occupying the same space. Now, if one of those children comes to school ill and educational administrators are not aware or informed, the chances of other children in the classroom becoming sick, it's highly probable. Now you may be asking, why should I get my child vaccinated? Here is the thing, vaccinations work. They safeguard your children from becoming ill or dying from diseases such as mumps, measles, rubella, polio, or tetanus. Now listen very carefully. The Ministry of Health and Wellness has provided very important information for you to make an informed decision. As someone who has been vaccinated as a child and who continues to be vaccinated as an adult, I can assure you that vaccines work. I protect you, you protect me, and together we can protect everybody. God bless.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Welcome back. Good morning. It's time for an update of the news. We're hearing this morning about a renewed call for Barbadians to support local businesses. It's coming from Prime Minister Mia Amor-Maudsley. She was speaking in relation to the new restaurant development at Salters in St. George. She says she is heartened to see the development.
Kind of sign that we want and showing people that people are taking risk in this country and having confidence that they can make back their investment. And this is a feeling that we're having, that Barbados is coming back, normal service is resuming, and we want to continue going in this direction. So I would invite Bajans to continue to come out and support their own and to let us get ourselves ready again.
There is no time for diplomacy. Too much is at stake. This charge came from Minister of Home Affairs and Information and Acting Attorney General Wilfred Abrams at the start of the second National Consultative Workshop at Courtyard by Marriott yesterday. The minister told the gathering, made up of United Nations risk reduction officials and local regional industry stakeholders, early warning and early action will enable countries to respond more effectively to the increasing risks associated with the realities of climate change. Trevor Thorpe has that story.
This is a technical workshop for validation of the multi-hazard early warning system implementation plan for Barbados. Minister Abrams made the point that Barbados has made much progress in the area of disaster preparedness and is now better positioned. He added, however, that developments driven by climate change have necessitated a review.
We've been increasingly getting weather systems impacting Barbados, not in June, but as early as May. So for our practical reasoning, we have decided to treat the start of the hurricane season as being May 1st. We expect that we are probably going to see some action or something happening in April.
The minister said the unpredictability requires Barbados to adapt and be flexible.
So our systems for warning and our systems for resilience and our systems for action and recovery have to be as nimble as the weather is unpredictable. And we tend to focus, quite frankly, on hurricanes. That up to now has been our reality. But for those who have been monitoring, you've been seeing the alerts in relation to Kickham Jenny. And mercifully, it is some activity going on there. It has not triggered anything more sinister.
He also said the workshop is timely and mechanisms have been put in place to allow for the dissemination of information.
Barbados' commitment to ensure that it strengthens its resilience to hazards continues to be at the forefront of the DEM, the Disaster Emergency Management's agenda. And ongoing collaborations continue with the broadcasting networks to ensure timely dissemination of critical information. To date, there are a total of 10 Memorandums of Understanding, MOUs, which have been signed with various agencies, with the most recent being the Barbados Community College earlier this month, to allow for radio station interrupts. These 10 MOUs represent 19 stations and their commitment to supporting the dissemination of emergency messages to the Barbados population.
In addition to a presentation of a three-part implementation plan, the sessions will also include hands-on workshops conducted by the Department of Emergency Management and the United States Department of Risk Reduction. The workshop ends tomorrow. Trevor Thorpe, CBC News.
Thank you, Trevor. Art is a subject area which helps to bring out the creativity in people, especially children, and should not be stifled. That's the view of historian and retired principal at Queen's College School, Dr. David Brown. He made the remark as the school, through its Legacy Art exhibition, paid tribute to him for his dedicated years of pushing visual arts, paving the way for Queen's College School to attain a number of local, regional, and international awards. The exhibition displayed a collection of visual arts as well as arts and design, which included a portrait of Dr. Brown himself, painted by Maurice Ford of the QC class of 2007. Dr. Brown has said that there are always ways that the passion has existed at Queen's College School, which inspired the creative, and he welcomes that.
Arts for me was an area of excellence. I saw it in that regard. I saw the art as an area to bring out the creativity in our children.
While the principal of the school lauded the effort of Dr. Brown to the arts program, stressing that he gave unwavering support and exhibited a passion for heritage and the culture at the school.
Today, we honor the patron of this curated experience of creativity and expression, our immediate past principal, Dr. David Brown. Today, we acknowledge his unwavering support for culture and heritage and identity and all that embodies who we are as a people. As you walk this hall, may you become immersed in what has been captured and presented in this space. We thank God for this day and for our creatives.
Well, that's news at this time. Join us for Newsday at 12 noon here on TV8, or tune into our radio stations, QFM 100.7 FM or 94.7 FM for the CBC News World at 1. Morning Barbados continues after this.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Hey guys, my name is Jon Yard and I'm the father to an amazing 3-year-old little boy. He'd say it like this: my name is Malachi Jon Yard. And Malachi, he's a super adventurous little boy. He loves to explore, he loves to have a great time, and it's my responsibility to facilitate such. One of the things that I do is ensure that the spaces where he's around, that they're safe from danger and harm. As a father, I also recognize that there's some things and some threats to his own safety as a child that we can't see with our physical eyes. That's why we believe in vaccinations as a family. I want my son, my adventurous little boy, to be as adventurous and as curious in this world as he possibly can, safely. We believe that DPT vaccination safeguards our son from tetanus, from diphtheria, and so many other viruses that are out there. My parents did it for me. I'm doing it for my son, and I really hope that you do it for yours. God bless you.
I am Ann St. John, a consultant pediatrician. Selecting water instead of commercial juice drinks or sweet drinks or sodas is recommended with meals and with snacks. Parents are advised to choose alternatives. Avoid drinks where the first 2 ingredients on the back label are water and a type of sugar. The high frequent consumption of sugar contributes to developing overweight and obesity in your child.
What's going on, everybody? It's Mahalia from Mahalia's Corner and the band to Mel Hill. I'm about to become a mommy for the very first time, and I know there's so much that I can't control as my baby grows up. And while that's the truth for all parents, there are some things we can do to help set up our little ones for a long and healthy life. And one of those things is making sure that they're immunized against deadly but preventable diseases like polio, rubella, and mumps. Things like measles have been making a recent comeback due to a serious decline in childhood immunization. Now, my mommy made sure we kept up with my immunization schedule when I was little, and now here I am, healthy, and about to do the same for my own bundle of joy. So I encourage you to get your little ones immunized, keep up with their immunization schedules, and give them the best chance at growing up strong and healthy and having the opportunity to make a positive impact on the world.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Now, if you were watching yesterday, you would have seen Punka here to launch his book, All Over the Place. Today, I'm like Punka. I am all over the place. Along with Sakina Bakaria, who's joining me. She's president of the Barbados Association of Muslim Ladies. It's so good to see you.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we've had a long relationship in terms of speaking, the children being at the same school, being on the same PTAs together, and so on. So it's
attending the same school as well. Don't forget
attending
that,
the same school. I was getting there. So wonderful to catch up with you this morning. And talk a little bit about the Barbados Association of Muslim Ladies and what it means, first of all, to be able to have an organization like this. Because some people don't understand how monumental it is for you to sit here and tell us you are the president of such an organization.
So, good morning to everyone again. So our organization was founded in 2010. So we're going 14 years this November. It is an organization formed to empower Muslim women and girls, to show Muslim women and girls that they are safe spaces to grow professionally, educationally, while adhering to the principles of the faith. Islam has been in Barbados for over 100 years. We have to acknowledge the work of our forefathers, but we also have to acknowledge that the change in scope of how we are raised and how we engage has to blend in with the Barbadian landscape, because we are all part of one island. And for Muslim women and girls, it's important to have that space where they have others just like them who are navigating the same changes and the same challenges that they are, and can come together and be empowered through the work that they want to do.
Absolutely, and I salute all the ladies who are working along with you. I know that you guys do a lot of charity work, particularly around Ramadan.
That's correct.
And I've told you for years that I'm coming along with you for Ramadan, especially for the fasting.
Okay, we welcome you.
So maybe this is as good a time as any for me to jump on board, but I know that you have a voucher drive that's happening now, so tell us more.
So our programming goes under four categories. So it's the educational and professional development, the social advocacy, social activities, advocacy, and charity and community service is one of them. So the voucher drive is the longest running initiative that BAML hosts. It began as a hamper drive, which is simply just 10 hampers in 2011, and continued to grow since then. Our hamper drive evolved into a voucher drive in 2020 with COVID. We couldn't very well gather as a group to pack these hampers. So what we did is we continued the donation drive and established the process of getting vouchers and distributed them to families within the Muslim community who are in need of a little extra help when it comes to fasting. So Ramadan is the 9th month of the Islamic calendar. Muslims fast from dawn to sunset. So fasting would mean that you refrain from eating, drinking, or intimate activities between dawn to sunset. And it would mean that you need to nourish your body a little bit more in the morning. You know, you can't just get up and start your day without anything. You have to function. There's no restriction on your work. There's no restriction on your daily activities or schooling or anything of that. It's just a matter of mindset and ensuring. So the hamper drive which became the voucher drive, has helped us give that extra to Muslim families in need. In 2020, when we did do the change during COVID, we were able to address the needs of other persons within the Barbadian population. So currently, we serve about 100 persons within the community. A needs assessment is done to ensure that it's just, a genuine need for help, and the vouchers are given in various denominations to sustain the family. So an individual may receive a smaller amount than a family of 6, for example. But it is important to ensure that there is the needs assessment done, that there is and persons identify the recipients. So the list, and the team consists of, and of the 8, maybe 2 or 3 have access to the list, because it's the important to ensure the dignity and privacy of the recipients. And
I know that all
back of my shirt says every act of kindness is charity, and that's the mandate that we have networked with the Heart and Stroke Foundation, with national organizations. We would go for drives when it came to the government's response to COVID. We made sure that our presence is there and that we know that we have a valuable contribution to offer, and we're women just like any other woman. So things that affect every Barbadian woman affect us as well.
And sometimes we forget that. You know, when all is said and done, we're women. We're all women. We have more in common than we don't.
Correct.
Than we have that's different. And I think that has to be at the core of everything we do and how we approach life generally. So how can we give, Sakina?
So the flyer will be circulated or has been circulated. Persons can contact any of the members on the flyer. They can reach out to our email via baml.bb@hotmail.com. They can reach out on our website, which is bamlbb.org, and contact any of the team members or persons that could direct them. But we are active on social media. Both Instagram and Facebook, Twitter, the regular platforms, but those avenues would direct us to where you can find and donate. And in terms of requests, if there are persons within the Muslim community that are in need for the hamper drive, they need to contact us via email so that the required needs assessment can be done prior to just giving a donation.
All right, that's beautiful stuff to be able to, share and give. It always feels really good.
Yes, it does.
That's at the beginning of it, but you never know how you could be changing an entire family's life.
Correct.
It goes beyond, because when you help a woman who has children, you're changing their lives in ways that you can't even imagine.
Correct.
So we really want to encourage people to give and give generously. I must ask you to kind of bring it home on Ramadan. And I know, as I mentioned, it's all in your teachings, as it is in Christian teachings as well, to give. So why during Ramadan? For people who don't know exactly what it is and what is done, you explained about the fasting and so on. But, why does this celebration make it that much more important?
Well, we give, there are avenues to give throughout the year, and Muslims are generally giving people. But Ramadan is a month of bringing us back to our spirituality, our humility. We can start our fast with a good meal. Many of us can. Many of us can open our fast at the end of the evening with a good meal. Some of us go elaborate and have 3-course meals. Some go very simple. But then we also have to remember that there are people that don't have that meal. They don't have anything in the morning, anything in the evening, or they have very meager amount, to if you compare it to what most of us have. So it's about remembering that. It's about remembering the spirituality, that we are all here to show kindness to each other. It's not just charity in Ramadan, but is remembering the importance of charity in the month of Ramadan, which is a time that we reconnect with our spirituality. So outside of the fasting, their long prayers, their gathering, you'll find that Muslim families generally share food too with each other, with their neighbors. When it comes to the end of fasting and the celebrations, we generally are that welcoming type of community, and it's important that we identify and we remember what our objectives are. And we're all human. We all need to show kindness to humanity. that has been one of the principles of our faith, or the teachings of our faith, that has guided me and the team in our work. You know, it's important to show kindness, especially when we know we have and many others don't.
Are there any particular foods you avoid or enjoy during the month of, during the celebration of Ramadan?
Muslims tend to break fast with dates. Dates are full of nutrients and it tends to give you a little bit of an energy boost. But generally many of us go back to our Indian roots and, you know, engage in our in Indian cuisine, but people generally eat what normally. So for us at home, it's more simple meals. You know, it's things that you know you can get nutrition from without having that extra cooking, because you are outside of fasting and remembering what it's for, you do experience a bit of a physical discomfort because you're not eating, you're not drinking, so your body will tend to weaken and things like that in the initial days. But that changes because your mindset, it's all about the mindset. So if you're tired, you're not going to want to be cooking a whole meal. Some of us do, and you know, everybody does what suits them, but it's about making sure you break the fast with ideally the dates, which gives you that nutrients, and filling your body with nutritious stuff to keep you going the whole day.
All right, so reflecting on my days at school, and this was before we had Alpha Law School or so. So, you know, when we went to school, I think the number of Muslim students that were at the school were, you know, the number was right on par with the number of students that were there. Do you have a difficulty in bringing the children along with the fasting?
No, it's obligatory on Muslim men and women once they've reached the age of puberty. But there are children as young as 4 or 5 that will see the whole family fasting, and some want to keep the whole fast. Yeah. I mean, you want to encourage them, but you also want to make sure that they are well nourished, yeah. And the children they welcome that time, and then the parents give them a little added, you know, reward. You know, if you fast, you know, we'll give you this, or yeah. So it is encouraging for them. We generally don't have that pushback because they want to be part of what the family is doing.
All right, absolutely. So Sakina is here telling us about contributing. You can find the Barbados Association of Muslim Ladies online. You know, all major platforms, and we'll make sure that we share that information with you. The deadline for donations is February 29th.
That's our initial deadline.
You still have a few days, so make sure you wrap that up, literally and figuratively. It's a voucher drive to help some people who are in need. And rest assured that this organization has done it for quite some time, so they know exactly what they're doing. Thank you so much, Sakina.
You're welcome, and we welcome you to fast with us. The wider public is welcome to come out to you know, take in a day of fasting.
That's
see
right.
What it's like.
Don't be a stranger. I've missed you for a minute, so yes. I know you're back at school, and so we're definitely going to meet up to talk about that. But I want to share something with you. So Love is double discount for senior citizens. Celebrate 16% off today only. So I'm going to stick around because I want to see you guys come in. Remember, Standard opens at 9 o'clock. We've been seeing people coming a whole lot earlier since we've been here, but they open at 9 o'clock, so come on through. So 16% off today only. Must be 60 years or over to be eligible. You present your ID card, and you know, you come on in and you can get this discount. Today only at Standard. We're going to tell you more about that, and we want to remind you that if you want to spruce up that special room in your home, take a snapshot, email it to info@standard.bb, and you could be coming in for a free consultation and a big discount on those amazing pieces to make your home look like $1,000,000. Hey, when we come back, we're going to join Kimberly, who is the resident curator here at Standard on Wildey, and she is going to be showing us how to entertain on a budget. That's all next. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Hi folks, it's Natalie Burke. Y'all remember when we used to have to line up at primary school with our uniform sleeves rolled up so the nurses could give us the injection? Or that bad tasting drop of red liquid that they used to give us with a sugar cube to kill the taste? Wanna know just what I'm talking about? Those are our childhood memories. But while memories were being made, we were actually getting protection. Protection from illnesses and diseases like measles, mumps, rubella, and polio that could make us very sick or potentially kill us. Nowadays, there has been a noticeable decrease in the numbers of children being immunized. Why deny them a chance to be well or even to live? Come on, parents and guardians, step up for your children. Get them immunized and keep up with the immunization schedule. Stop lying and get your children protected starting today.
I'm Anne St. John, a consultant pediatrician. When packing healthy lunch boxes, do include a fruit, which includes a banana, apple, orange, or grapes to supply fiber. Aim for low-calorie packaged snacks without the mention of flour or sugar amongst the first 4 ingredients on the back label. 1 in 3 children in Barbados is affected by overweight or obesity. Let us join together as parents and care providers to reduce the further development of this chronic non-communicable disease within our communities.
Every year, millions of children die from causes that are preventable and treatable. Scary, right? It's a songbird Nikita, mom of 2 young boys, Knox and Noah. And rates of immunization have been backsliding to their lowest levels in the last 3 decades. Which means that children are missing out on routine vaccines that can help keep them safe from deadly diseases like measles, mumps, polio, and even tetanus. I want to encourage every mom and dad out there to give your child the opportunity to live a healthy life, one that they will not only survive, but thrive. Protect your child as I protect mine.
Hello, good day. My name is Dr. Diane Brackett. I'm the Clinical Director at the Barbados Diabetes Foundation and also the lead consultant at the Diabetes Clinic.
My tip for the week is plan it. And what do I mean by plan it? If you think about it realistically, we all live very, very busy lives. And if you take the time to plan your meals and nutrition over the coming week, you'll find that you'll actually eat healthier meals, spend less money, and they'll probably actually taste a lot better. So what exactly do I mean by plan it? Where are you going to go? What are you going to buy? Where are you going to shop? What about your budget? When are you going to cook food? Maybe when you're going to prepare snacks for maybe the kids in the week. Say this cantaloupe, for example. There's so many things that I can do with this. I could actually use this to make an unsweetened natural juice. Maybe hit it with a twist of lime. I can also cut it up and just eat it as fresh fruit. Maybe I can actually make a smoothie with it, with yogurt. You know what else I love to put cantaloupe in? Salad. Or how about using it as a chutney, a pickle, add it to meats. There's just so much stuff that you can do with just the simple things that you can buy. So remember, the health of our children matters. What you put in is what you get out. So plan your best life today.
Hi everybody, my name is Stephanie Chase, an educator tasked with providing a safe environment that is conducive to learning for the children in my care. It is therefore very important for me to encourage parents and guardians to get their children vaccinated. Picture this, 30 children in a classroom sharing food, drinks, snacks, and work materials, occupying the same space. Now, if one of those children comes to school ill and educational administrators are not aware or informed, the chances of other children in the classroom becoming sick is highly probable. Now you may be asking, why should I get my child vaccinated? Here is the thing, vaccinations work. They safeguard your children from becoming ill or dying from diseases such as mumps, measles, rubella, polio, or tetanus. Now listen very carefully. The Ministry of Health and Wellness has provided very important information for you to make an informed decision. As someone who has been vaccinated as a child and who continues to be vaccinated as an adult, I can assure you that vaccines work. I protect you, you protect me, and together we can protect everybody. God bless.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Welcome back. Good to have you with us. Of course, we are here at Standard in Wildey. Want to remind you that there's a big special on for you today. 16% off for those 60 plus. So bring your ID in and shop away. All right, it's only for today, so make sure you come on over and be a part of that. Of course, you can capitalize on being a part of the Morning Barbados family as well by sending a photograph. Just take a snapshot of that room that you want refreshed in your home, and you are going to get a free consult with Kimberly. Hi. Here she is. Hello. Kimberly is back with us this morning, and we're talking about today, if it was your living room, for example, a living room refresh. So you have some nice pieces. I've recognized that a lot of people are going for accent chairs, even in the home. So they're not necessarily going for that matchy feel.
Right.
Talk to me about that.
Okay, so that is something that is really new nowadays. You don't buy the whole set all the time. So thankfully we have, for a living room refresh, you can start with your couch. If you want to change out your couch, have lovely piece here.
Yeah.
And then you can add
a good way to do that.
Yes.
Is to
adding your throw pillows.
A few throw pillows.
Yes.
Do you, if you're adding throw pillows, do you have to, Kimberly, go with pillows that match what's happening?
No,
or,
you can have a really good contrast of color according to your scheme. So here we have a nice blue color scheme, fairly masculine in the vibe that it has as well. So we have a nice like charcoal gray couch. You have two different types of
blue chairs,
blue accent chairs.
So this looks like styles. So I guess what we're showcasing in the accent chairs is you can have a chair that might be right for her, because this looks more like a for him, because this looks like a chair that a guy would be really comfortable in.
Yes.
And then you might have a chair for the queen.
Of course, with a little bit more sparkle and detail in it with the studs as well. So, and it's a nice high back chair. So when you sit in it, if you want to sit in it,
I absolutely want to sit in it.
Have a seat and enjoy.
Fit for a queen. Yeah, it is comfortable.
It's comfortable, right?
Yeah,
and it has the studs on there, so it makes you feel a little bit more, you know.
Yeah, makes me feel like I want to take it home with me.
I'll add it to the list.
Are there any rules to the color scheme? Have a seat.
Well, let me have a seat as well. We can play a game of chess if you like.
How about that? Side tables is something else we talked about.
Different types of side tables. So this one is really fun. If you're an avid chess player, you have a side table that is actually a chess board.
Yeah,
you
so
know,
this is
comes with the whole.
This is a good conversation piece as well.
A good conversation piece and a good way to entertain someone. Outside of that, we also have another side table here that looks like a clock. So that is completely different, and that's a conversation starter as well.
All right, absolutely. Let's go over here so we can see this one.
Yes.
It truly is an interesting piece.
Let me just lean it so you can see a little bit.
Lean it a bit.
So it looks like a clock. It has, and it actually works. It is a clock.
Yeah.
It actually works.
The clock actually works. And then I know you brought along a few other pieces that you might be able to add outside of the ordinary.
Outside of the ordinary, yes. Because we're speaking about a more masculine feel in this area, we brought the guys. We brought the masculine physique to add as an accent. Little decor as well. So there are two different ones that you have here. I'm just going to show you right here. You don't have to put it on this side table, but you got pieces that you can play around with.
I asked you before, when is it too much? Is there a way to know that it's too much? Because these two are on here, and for me, It doesn't feel like it's too much.
It doesn't feel that way. However, how are you going to use the space? If you're walking in and traversing, then you don't want to have something a little too far outside of the actual table that you can knock down. You don't want that.
What about going with the traditional? Because I see that you have a plant there.
Yes,
so
you can do the.
Sorry.
You can do the very simple plant if you want, and that always brightens up a space. You add a little bit of green in it. And not be like me that kills all plants, but you know, that's why we have full plants.
Okay, and again, I mean, look at how gorgeous this is, a full plant, but it truly looks like it's alive. All you have to do is make sure you wipe it off.
Yeah, you don't have to water it or anything.
You know, and keep the leaves nice and beautiful.
Yes.
And there you are. And this has definitely added a different feel
to the entire space. Yes, and adding a rug as well is another option that you can do.
Okay.
To bring the whole space together and make it look cohesive as well.
So this rug, for example, that we're next to, you're here in this space where the couch is gray, but you have blue accent chairs,
right?
And we are definitely picking up on both of the colors.
Yes.
With this rug.
Yes, some tones of blue inside there as well. So it brings the space together, make it feel very cohesive.
Good stuff. I love the idea of being able to bring it together.
Yes.
But definitely some really great ways to do that.
Yes.
And I see that you've also added a few pieces.
Oh, the flowers behind, yes.
Behind the couches.
Because if you have a plain wall, you don't always want to put your couch directly against the wall. You might want to put a credenza or a table behind there that you can add your lamps, your decor pieces, your paintings, whatever you feel you can add behind there, and it creates another space.
Oh, that's beautiful. Of course, as you mentioned, nobody's kind of like pushing couches against walls anymore.
Exactly.
So you're creating spaces that you can move around.
A conversation space.
Absolutely. And then that is where these long side pieces come in, not only for your television sets, but they can be great pieces to put your plants and other show pieces as well.
Yes, because if you want to refresh and change out your television, television console, then instead of throwing it away, you can put it behind the couch. And whenever you feel, if you decide to exchange them again, then you can do so.
All right, so we told you we're on the move, so I'm following you.
We're going to go this
way.
way.
We're going over to another space. Yes. So I'm going to invite the guys to follow us.
So we're going to go over to where they are. Alrighty.
Giving Peter a chance to catch up.
So over here, we have a lovely space that we've set up with highlighting accent chairs. So as you can see, they have 4 different colors in this accent chairs.
Okay.
You have the gray, like a stone gray. You have a cream boucle fabric chair. This is the only one with the boucle fabric, but it feels good. It looks good. Yeah.
It feels good indeed.
It feels good, right?
Yeah.
And you also have the blue, like a nice.
And it's different. So this one, you know, this is kind of fuzzy. I don't know, but this one
is a nice texture.
Oh, and looking at it, you would never think it's so soft.
Yes, they're very soft.
Very
soft.
I like the buttons in them. It gives it
the tufting. Yes, it's really nice. And then,
what did you call it?
Tufting.
Yes, the tufting.
Tufting, darling.
Not the buttons, the tufting.
So again, here we're highlighting. We're going to head back over here to open the couch so I can show you, but we just wanted to show you the different colors that they have in store with the accent chairs. Again, side tables. So we saw the clock on the other area in the black.
And here it is. That one is black, but this one is white with the gold. Look at that.
It has the white and the gold as well.
Gorgeous.
And then again, add in a bit of color with your green.
Your greenery, so plants in the corner.
Yes.
Yes.
And not be like me and have a black thumb.
I really love how you laid the side tables out.
Yes.
Along with the accent chairs, because with this one, I wouldn't necessarily pick this out and say that I would place it with the yellow, with the orange. I probably would go with the white, but the blue could work. And looking at this, the gray could work. So it really is about your specific taste, I would imagine.
About your specific taste. But I wanted to also highlight these sofas, which are on sale today well, they're on sale not only today, however, they are sofa beds. So I wanted to pull out that one so you can see exactly.
All right, well, let's take
You're
that
gonna do
in.
that one because
and that's a beautiful color.
Yes.
And why this works, I'm following you. Why this works is because
if you have
we don't
coming
always
over.
have a whole lot of space.
Yes. You're gonna pull that around, and it's so easy. You just pull it out.
Look at that. And it's a pull-out bed.
And it's a pull-out bed.
Or it can be a day bed.
Or a day bed as well, yes. If you want to watch TV and just lounge, it's perfect for that.
So once you put it away, you still have your space.
You still have your space.
But if you have an overnight guest,
then
you're able to. I love the color too, and it feels
beautiful. It's
beautiful.
beautiful. And it's more of a microfiber fabric. And so they have it in the orange, the gray, as well as a cream. But we've highlighted the gray and the orange. And the pillows are actually available in store. These do not actually come with the bed, but you have your pillows at home. You might want to change out as well, so that's another good.
All right, beautiful things. Hey, so make sure you come on down today. 16% off for anybody 60 plus. Bring your ID, come on through and do some shopping at Standard. There's lots for you to see, lots for you to do. And as Kimberly told you, a refresh of a room is as simple as a consult with her. So once you send that picture in of the room that you want to refresh, you're sending it to info@standard.bb, and you could be in here talking to Kimberly to be able to, capitalize on this. I won't take a nap, but you can if you buy it. Again, thanks, Kimberly. You're going to see her for some of the rest of the time that we will be here. I want to thank you for sharing with us today here on Morning Barbados. So make sure you come on in and check us out tomorrow. Remember to wear your smiles, do something nice for somebody, and tune in to Morning Barbados tomorrow from 6 a.m. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning, Barbados, good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning, 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 morning. Good morning to you. Good morning, morning, Barbados, good morning. Good morning to you.